Local 4 News begins right now with a breaking news alert.
And that breaking news is all across Metro Detroit with the flash flooding turning our freeways into small lakes everywhere. Several drivers, as you see here, needing to be rescued. Thanks for joining us this noon. That flash flood warning has been extended all the way through 2:15 this afternoon for all of the metro area. We're talking Macomb, Oakland, as well as Wayne counties. And this noon, we have team coverage to bring it to you all. Priya, as well as Brandon, tracking the radar. Guy on the flooded Lodge Freeway. And we also have our Tim Pamplin, who is following the mess along I-75. And let's start things off with you, Tim. How is it looking? Any better?
Oh my goodness gracious me, no, I think it's getting progressively worse, my dear. Look at this. This is westbound 94 to southbound 75. Several cars got unstuck here. The commute this morning has taken up to 4.5 hours at this point. Drivers just stranded. Look at this. It's unbelievable. There are semis, cars, drivers with absolutely nowhere to go. I saw some school children and their parents. They can't get to school. A young man had a date with a judge, couldn't make it to the courthouse in time. And there are some good stories coming out of all of this. People helping other people. Roll that sound. When you broke down, Lindsay, tell me, did you go through a flood or?
Just a lot of water, I think, was the cause of it. And luckily I found Juan here and helped me out. So you meet good people along the way. Pay it forward, right?
This is what happened around 7:30, 7:45 this morning. People trying to leave the city, going northbound on the Lodge, hit this. A stretch of water they now not so affectionately call Lake Cobo.
I looked up and this little Chevy had traversed, well, about halfway through it, got about 3/4 of the way through it, and then clearly had stalled and then started to float backwards. So I called 911.
Jefferson west of Cobo was flooded as well. Storm sewers so swamped the water actually lifted up a section of road next to Joe Louis Arena, flooding the Jefferson exit from the Lodge. So motorists had nowhere to go. Waters were rising. The only solution, go back the way they came.
I really credit Detroit police. They did a wonderful job. They responded quickly. They turned us all around.
Meantime, police had rescued the driver and 2 others and were trying to clear the car, but the heavy equipment got stuck. So a flatbed from the same company was towing the cat while the cat was lifting the Chevy, which then slid off as the water continued rising. They finally got it out of here, and you can see the waters have receded somewhat here. The pump's beginning to catch up. Now, we talked to MDOT. They say in this case they had no reports of any pumps go out. They believe that this was just storm sewers that were overwhelmed and pumps that were over capacity. Michigan State Police report 6 to 7 motorists had to be rescued, 3 of them here on the northbound Lodge. Nobody was injured.
Take a look at the basement of Sharif Al-Mubarak's home. Now, it is flooded with about 2 feet of a mix of rainwater and sewage. Now, we're not actually wading into the water ourselves. This water could be dangerous. There's a chance it could be electrified. So we're not getting into the water directly, but you can see the amount of damage that's been left behind. Now, this standing water, a mix of rainwater and sewage, is about 2 feet deep. And the homeowner tells me he just bought a new washer and dryer, a new furnace. All of that is at a loss now.
Flash flood warning continues. A lot of the heaviest rain is gone, but we're having trouble draining it all out. So any additional rain is going to cause additional problems. Central and northern Wayne County into southern Oakland and southern Macomb counties until 2:15. Certainly we'll let you know if it gets extended. Boy, it just keeps coming. It is not a major problem everywhere. It has been this thin strip throughout southern Ontario, parts of Wayne County into southern Oakland, and even Livingston County getting tons of rain. We're not done yet. Luckily, we're in this sort of gap where we're getting some breaks, but there is more wet weather coming out of Ohio and out of Pennsylvania that is coming your way. Look at this radar estimate right downtown Detroit. This is unofficial, but over 4.5 inches of rain in a very short amount of time.
This is the problem we've been looking at all morning. Southbound I-75 closed at Clay. It's been like that for hours now. These cars have been sitting there. So in the meantime, you don't want to get yourself in this mess. So use Woodward if you are headed towards downtown this morning. Also, we've got flooding on I-94. It is closed right now on the eastbound side right at Michigan Avenue. So if you are traveling this way, exit at Greenfield to avoid that. We have flooding on Southfield Freeway as well. The northbound side closed at Michigan Avenue. So if you are taking that way, use Oakwood to get around that.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Karen Drew. The strong storm surprised really everyone and brought the morning commute to a stop. It was such a mess. Downtown Detroit was ground zero for the pounding rain and the flash flooding. Take a look at the traffic on I-75 near 94. Drivers were at a standstill. Now you can see some of them just got out of their cars. Many drivers saying a commute that normally takes 30 minutes or less expanded to more than 2 hours. Some of the worst flooding was on the Lodge. Detroit police telling people to just get off the highway if they were heading downtown. Part of the northbound Lodge is still closed at this hour.
Looking at the rainfall totals over the last 48 hours, that red circle, over 5 inches of rain fell in the city of Detroit, and you can see that we saw very similar numbers even in the northern sections of Wayne County as that rain just arced back through parts of Livingston County.
Ben, what is it with your timing? I mean, we had that nice break, the pumps caught up with things, the drains caught up with things, and now it's raining again, and we could have more problems. Take a look at what's happening here on the northbound Lodge as it comes out of downtown Detroit. If you take it from the Jefferson ramp there, this is what you would have run into. We still have 2 cars that were fully submerged just about 2 hours ago. And you can see we've got a few crews in there working on these drains to try to clear them a little better. This is not going to be ready for the rest of the evening commute. You can expect this to be closed for at least another few more hours. Now, take a look at what happened to other folks today. I mean, we saw storm sewers popping up out of the ground. We saw pieces of pavement being ramped up because of it. And we saw over at 94, as folks were inbound to 75 trying to get downtown, a real mess there. Storm sewers backing up into the trenches, and folks saw their morning commute turn into a noon commute.
I've gone about a quarter mile in 3 hours.
We've been in traffic since 7:15.
What time is it now?
11:05. I already called in to work, so now we got to get just to the Mac exit. It's the first exit, but it's going to take probably another hour probably.
A mess out there, also a big mess in the neighborhoods. The heavy rain flooded basements across the area. Now hundreds of families are working to clean up what they can. This is flood video of Midland Street in Highland Park, just west of Woodward. The basement of this home has about 2 feet of standing water, a mixture of rainwater and sewage. This homeowner tells us he had just got a new washer and dryer. All that plus his furnace is now a loss.
You pay so much for water and sewage here. And then at the same time, the sewage is causing me the problem.
You can monitor the forecast 24/7 online, and we've also posted some really amazing video, what drivers had to go through this morning on our website. Just go to clickondetroit.com. You'll find it on the homepage.
Downtown Detroit saw the brunt of it, getting more than 5 inches of rain right in the midst of the morning commute.
And now there's a huge mess left behind.
Our Guy Gordon is downtown with a look at just how bad the commute was, and Priya Mann is talking to folks left with a big mess in their basements.
Well, we want to start with Ben tonight, who's tracking even more rain.
Take a look. Yes, northbound is back open. Hard to believe that that was an 8-foot deep lake about 8 o'clock this morning. For the people caught up in it, it was frightening. For others trying to get into the city, it was really, really frustrating. 3 cars became submerged in waters on the northbound Lodge under the Joe Louis Arena Bridge. It rose to 8 feet. As a motorist, you're faced with an illusion. As you approach this, look, the bridge is so high, it looks like this isn't that deep. But look in the distance. You got 2 vehicles that were totally submerged just a few minutes ago, and then imagine how bad it was when this high water mark was hit. Too many are tempted to cross on these occasions. If damage to your vehicle won't deter you, maybe this will. that's untreated sewage down there.
There's all kinds of stuff in there, from dirty condoms to feces to all kinds of stuff. So as you know, the first responders are getting in there, we're worried about them just as much as we are worried about getting those people out of there, not getting them infected by this water.
One of the sweetest stories that I heard today was a woman on her way into work. She called into work, said, I'm going to be late. They said, fine, turn around, go home, take the day off. And then she realized she couldn't do that either. We're live from the lodge. I'm Guy Gordon, Local 4. Back to you.